The Tim Morris Channel. Hi, Tim Morris here. In this video, I want to go over covered calls. Now, there's a lot of information on the internet regarding covered calls, and most of the information tells you that you can make a ton of extra money and become extra rich with covered calls. So I'm going to go over this video to show you if it's true or not. I guess we'll see. So, covered calls, as you can see, this is basically a profit loss chart for a covered call. And so as you can see, this is basically the most profit you can make. And let's go over a more concrete example, though, for those unfamiliar. So a covered call is basically where you sell a call that's out of the money above the underlying stock price. So for example, let's say you bought a stock here for $65. Okay, and then as soon as you buy it, you sell, let's say, 1 month out, or in this case, it's 45 days out till expiration. You sell a strike price at $70, and then you sell it for $1.25. Now, $1.25 in option world actually means $125 you're getting. So as long as the underlying stock price, which is here, the $65, does not get above $70 on the expiration date, you get to keep this $125, which is a pretty good deal. What the educators online say is if you sell a out of the money call option, if you sell it like way out of the money, you'll definitely make a profit because it'll never get that high. That's what they say. Okay, so we'll be moving on. And so here's some of the articles I found online. So this is on Seeking Alpha. It's a very big stock website. And this guy, Steven here, tells you how you can supersize the AT&T dividend through selling covered calls. If you go on YouTube, I just typed in covered call in the search here. And as you can see, there's a lot of people explaining how to do covered calls. And this guy here, In the Money is his name, tells you that covered calls are the trading cheat code. Okay, moving on. This is another one. This is a book I found online by a very big, actually, option website called Option Alpha. And they basically tell you how this 1 hour per month strategy outperformed the S&P 500. If we go to Amazon.com, again, I typed in covered calls. And as you can see, there are a lot of books on covered calls. You got covered calls for beginners. Oops, hold on. Got covered calls for beginners, option trading made easy, how selling options. So that's another basically covered call strategy. You got covered call, complete encyclopedia for call writing. And some of these have really good reviews. As you see, this is like 4.5 stars. Matthew Cratter has covered calls made easy. He tells you can generate monthly cash flow by selling call options. And so as you can see, there's a lot of stuff online that basically tells you you'll make a lot of money with covered calls. So what I did was, because the thing is, hear me out, I don't always believe people on the internet. I know, crazy. Most of them, I'm probably telling the truth, right? Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so what I did was, I took the S&P 500. Okay, so for those unfamiliar, S&P 500, 500 largest stocks in the United States. They're comprised into an index. And I used the Thinkorswim software, which is a stockbroking software, I believe, by TD Ameritrade. And what it does is it allows you to look at all the past options data. So what I did was I took 10 years of options data for the S&P 500. And I made it so I sold very far out of the money covered calls, as well as very close to in the money or at the money covered calls. And I did this by use of standard deviations. So as you can see here, I used a 1.5 standard deviation here, and I also I did a 1.0 standard deviation. As you can see here, the SD is standard deviation. I did 1.0, I did 1.25, I did 0.75, and then I also did 0.5. So 0.5 would be the closest at the money, and then 1.5 would be the furthest away from at the money. And then what I did was I took all these stats and I put them into a chart. And here's the big reveal. Over the last 10 years, this is how much you would have made selling either the blue one is the furthest away out of the money, okay? And then the green one is the closest to at the money. What does this chart reveal? This chart reveals that you would have lost money with all of these strategies. All of them. So whether you're selling a close covered call or a very far away covered call, you lost money. And it wasn't just during corrections or crashes either. Sometimes during the bull markets, the stock price would just shoot up and it'd be too far. And then, for example, here, that was a huge bull market run, and the covered call would have lost money because it would have expired way above your out of the money covered call strike price that you sold. So this basically proves the point that over the long run, covered calls do not make money. As you can see, the only one that did okay was the 1.5 standard deviation, which was the furthest away. But eventually, the stock market makes it fold in terms of... The thing about the options market is people aren't stupid. So if there's an option, and this one on the S&P 500, for example, the 1.5 standard deviation, it only sold for 3 cents. Okay, and so in the option world, that's $3, right? Because times 100. So you'd be making $3 per month. And the S&P 500 was anywhere between $100 to $200 at this time. So, or I'm talking about SPY, the ETF, SPY. So, you'd be selling the underlying. So you have what, 100 shares of SPY, let's say for $200, right? So $20,000, and you'd make just $3. So it's a lot of risk to not very much reward. What this comes down to is the option market isn't stupid. If someone's willing to buy your out of the money 1.5 standard deviation covered call, there's a reason for it. So let's say they're willing to buy it for $3. Most of the time, it will in fact expire out of the money, and you'll profit as the option seller. As shown in the chart here, you profited for a while. But eventually, whether it takes 6 months, a year, or even 2 years, it will end up expiring in the money, and those pennies you picked up along the way will be worthless, as you'll end up losing much more than you ever gained. And so what this means is long-term covered calls do not work. They lose money, as shown in this chart here. And in some cases, such as the 0.5 standard deviation covered call, which is closest at the money, it lost a lot. As you can see here, it was almost $8,000. And this is just selling one covered call. Most people would be selling multiple ones, which means a lot more money lost. Now, a question you may be asking is, are covered calls ever a good strategy? And I'd say yes, but only for short-term trading. So let's go over an example. Here, let's say you were going to buy ExxonMobil, for example. So right now it's going for $57.59. And let's say you had a price target of $65 that you wanted to sell it for. So you had maybe a little short-term swing trade. In this scenario, yes, it would make sense to sell a covered call with maybe a strike price of $65. And that's because you can collect money on the way that it's going up. And, you know, it may take weeks, months to get there. You don't know how long. But you have that strike price on it, and you're collecting money until it does get there. And then when the price of the stock goes over $65, your call expires, the stock gets exercised away from you, but that was your target price anyway. So, you know, it doesn't matter at that point. Meaning with short-term trading, yes, covered calls can make you a little extra money. I'd say that's the only circumstance, though. In long-term trading, covered calls are no bueno. Okay? They shouldn't be used. All these charlatans on the internet who say you'll make an exorbitant amount of wealth selling covered calls forever, I would argue they're lying. I know. I thought everyone on the internet told the truth too, but I'm learning each day that it may not be the case. If you like this video, make sure to pound that like and subscribe button. That really helps me out a lot. Adios.